Bobbidi Boo. What's up, podcast people? It's Dan back here with another episode of Fun, a show that takes fun seriously. I am joined, as always, by my producer, Nathan. Hello, Nathan.
Oh, hello, Daniel.
Hey there, Nathan.
So
hey, what's going on? What's going on?
We are recording this episode in the morning, and I would say my face is not on.
Don't reveal to the people the time frame, baby. They could be like, oh, maybe they're recording it late. Maybe they're a little tired. You know what I mean? Maybe they just took a nap. People don't know.
Well,
people don't know. You're breaking the fourth wall.
We're professionals,
oh, okay.
and we record at professional times. And my face isn't on. I'm not feeling my most beautiful self, Dan. And I need someone to come down from the sky and help me feel my most beautiful self.
Okay, I know where you're going.
Yes.
I want to put a pin in the come down from the sky thing because I believe that is shenanigans. I don't believe fairy godmothers descend like Jesus Christ. I believe that they magic in place with a poof like Batman. Thank God that we have with us a fairy godmother in training.
What?
Honorably discharged, Dapper Danielle.
With honors.
I love how you're like honorably discharged. Like it's true. You wouldn't believe what I've seen out on the front. It was bippity boppity bonkers. It was crazy, man. You have no idea.
It was foo bippidied. Everything was foo bippity barred.
Literally.
Well, I had to say that because you can't say she was a fairy godmother in training because people would be like, well, what happened? Why did she get kicked out of the program? And it's not that she got kicked out of the program. She graduated into becoming a social media fairy godmother, if you will.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
True.
And so, and until she ages up enough to get the job in Tokyo to actually be the fairy godmother over there, she is now she's just in a stasis program.
I mean,
I'm similarly in a program, Danielle. I'm in a Santa in training program. In fact, every day I think today's the day I'm going to start a TikTok called Santa in Training, where it's just me wrapping presents, or it's just me putting stuff in socks. You know what I mean? It just be like, all right, I gotta do my reps, before I start graying out.
I love that.
So I get it, Danielle. We had to make sure that people knew it was honorable.
Well, I would say here though, Dan, you make a good point about Japanese fairy godmother, but honestly, you could play the Japanese fairy godmother. It's just a mask. So
okay. So my debate. So I have talked about this many a times, even when I first started social media, and people are like, oh, you actually look like a legit fairy godmother. Or even when I was leaving the role and I was in merchandising, people were like, oh, you could totally be like a face character for fairy godmother. And I said,
for sure.
If Tokyo ever wants to test out a live face character, I better be the first one to call.
Right.
And
if Tokyo needs a dream finder, I better be the first one they call. All right. It's the two Dans taking over Tokyo. Going
to see Country Bear Holiday on our days off. It's going to be great.
Yeah. It's going to be awesome. It's the peak Disney. You know what I mean? And they love Caucasian actors over there playing princess and princesses, So, and fairy godmother and dreamfinder are essentially just like ethereal prince and princess of Disney parks, if you ask me. So,
interesting.
And Tinkerbell is their illegitimate child, it's.
I didn't know we were shipping Dreamfinder and fairy godmother.
They work together really well. All right.
They
They fairy godmother clearly took like a tin can and like a pile of cogs, and she magicked up the dream catcher. You know what I mean? That clearly is like, an old sock and a balloon. And she's like, I got this for you, honey. You know what I mean? She whipped that up, Fairy godmothers have a lot of powers. They have a lot of powers.
It's true.
They have a lot of powers. Okay. I have so many questions about being a fairy godmother in training, and I'm sure you've probably been asked them all. So I'm gonna try not to ask the obvious ones, but the first thing I want to ask is how did you get how did you, like, was there like a fairy godmother opening? Like, did you turn 11 and an envelope arrived through your fireplace? Like, how did you get called to become a fairy godmother?
Well,
like,
okay,
that's something I'm very interested in.
First off, do not compare us to the wizards. Okay, that is we do not communicate. They're totally
didn't
different.
compare. I just asked if the invitation system was similar. That's all. I wasn't saying that you were a wizard, you know. But the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique is a magic place that children around the age of 11. You know what I mean? If I could pay an extra $200 for an owl to deliver an invitation to Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique to my house for my children, I would. My kid just turned 11, and if you could be like, "Come on down, we'll sprinkle glitter on you. It's an owl envelope." Get hyped, you know. Kids don't care, Danielle. So don't be blurring lines about, you know, wizards and witches and fairy godmothers. All right,
but there is lore to that, or at least there was. I don't know if there still is, but anyway. So to like explain how you became a fairy godmother at the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique when I was a fairy godmother. Now, mind you, I was hired in September of 2014. And I was already a cast member before then. The struggle is that at the time, and still now, the role is very coveted. Like, it is an application process, and you don't just like put in your name into the hat and then you just get it. It is multiple interviews.
What I wouldn't pay to watch like a Bachelorette Disney Plus fairy godmother type show. You know what I mean? Where Cinderella's handing out glass slippers at the end of each episode, being like, all right, and the rest of you chicks, get out of here. It's just these last 4. You are now the fairy godmothers in training. That would be an incredible show. Why isn't that televised? We did the whole like MTV Search for Elle, you know, Legally Blonde thing. I'm saying fairy godmothers. I think there's money in this is all I'm saying. Yellow Shoes, call me.
Oh yeah. Well, okay. So before I got this role, previously, right beforehand, I was in children's activities, which did like the poolside activities at the resorts. And it was great. I was entertaining groups of kids from like amounts of like 5-10 kids up to like 50 kids at a time. And it was a really great experience. I really, really loved it. But I wanted a more one-on-one experience and to try just something else. And everybody said like, hey, if you can be a fairy godmother, because at the time you'd also paid a little bit more compared to everybody else. And you had like the extra $1 premium, man. That was the way to go.
Yeah.
But you had to apply and then sit on a wait list until either somebody transferred out, somebody died, or
right. Someone went to see fairy godmother up in heaven.
Yes,
as
literally.
Nathan believes that they ascend down from, apparently. Which we're still gonna talk about.
We'll get to that.
Don't think you got out of here doing the whole Jesus fairy godmother thing. All right. Okay, but you're on a wait list.
You're on a wait list, and so I was on a wait list for 8 months to see if I could even get a first interview. So you have to wait until something opens. And at the I think this interview process has slightly changed post 2020 shutdown. But I had to go to Team Disney. I had to meet with somebody in person because they wanted to be like, okay, can this person actually communicate? Do they have previous experience working with kids? You did not have to have previous hair or cosmetology experience. That was the plus. Because
you had to know what a Q-tip was because you use a lot of those.
We do use a lot of those. And so the first test is that it was weird walking into this meeting because there's just a random mannequin head that's attached to the desk.
Monsters Inc. style, baby. You know what I mean? Monsters University style. You know, you go in there to the simulator. This child's afraid of thunder and lions. All right, braid her hair.
Well, and it's not braid her hair. It's literally just put her hair into a ponytail on the top of her head. But you have to be able to tell a story at the same time. Oh. And that was the first test is like, hey, okay, so I want you to talk to this mannequin in the middle of this meeting room with some rando guy from Team Disney. And I want you to talk to this mannequin head as if it's a princess. And so now mind you, I had a pixie cut for most of my life and had just started growing out my hair. I had never put my hair up into a ponytail since I was like maybe 7, right?
Wow.
And so I'm doing this. I'm like trying to make it work. And I'm talking to her. Oh, hello, princess. Well, why are you here today? And you're having to pretend like you had those pauses. And I get the ponytail up there. I make it work. And he's like, okay, yeah, we'll move you on to the second round of interviews. I'm like, Bet. Okay. The second round.
I'm realizing as a girl dad of 2, I would make an incredible fairy godmother in training.
Oh, you totally
because
would.
That's literally. I've been conditioning for the past 11 years. Combing naughty girl hair and then putting it in a ponytail. And let me say, ponytails for the uninitiated, because I know a lot of you out there haven't ponied.
I've never had one.
Right. Or and some of you might have rat-tailed, and God bless you. But for the uninitiated, ponytails, while you go with the natural flow of the hair, you can. You know what I mean? Everyone has their flow, right? But if you need to go against the flow, if you're going to do a high pony, it's not always easy, all right? Because the temple hair gets unruly because it just wants to go straight back, you know? So doing a high pony is not always a simple ask, okay? I'm just saying. Danielle will attest.
Yes.
It's not easy doing a high pony. And also, there is no way in hell I would take that test seriously. I'd be like, what's going on, girl? You seem a little stiff today. You okay, honey? You look shiny. Right. You need to get some sunscreen on that face. Why are you so quiet? It's okay. You can talk to me.
You have some really chiseled cheekbones going on right there for a 5-year-old. This is amazing.
It's like, holy cow, Susanna, what have you been eating, girl?
Yes, literally. So I made it through that interview, and then finally, so then I had to go on another waiting list until the actual position opened, and I had to wait for either Magic Kingdom or for Downtown Disney at the time, where it was located inside World of Disney. And I got called in for another interview with Downtown Disney, and I got pulled into the interview, and I had to do the exact same thing over again with the mannequin. And the true question that boiled down to it of whether or not I got the job was, how do you feel with bugs? And right. And I looked at him and I said, because it was a manager that his name was, I think it was Daniel or Dave. I think it was Dave maybe. And he was so funny. I was like, sir, I just came from recreation. Do you know what a gator tick is? And he's like, no. I'm like, it is literally a beetle bug with pincers on the front of it that can grow up to be the size of your hand. And my job is to comb the edge of the pool deck during their key mating seasons and making sure that they don't attack guests or their feet.
No, thanks.
And he's like,
I don't like that.
He's like, oh, then yeah, you can totally handle bugs. And I'm like, yeah, I think I got this.
Yeah. Whew.
Because we would look for head lice.
Yeah. Head lice has got to be a thing that I'm sure you encounter.
It is nice, though, that that's a free service. It's like when you get your tires rotated for free when you go in.
Sure.
Oh, check your kid. Yeah. Let's see. Do you got some head lice in here today?
Because head lice is bed bugs of the head. You know what I mean? Like you gotta work to get rid of them. You know what I mean? Yes. And you gotta go scorched earth. You know, like it's bananas. So.
And just like how the bed bug epidemic started in France, the same thing happened with head lice. So like if we heard
did you get head lice at all working? Like was that a risk? Like that they were like, you're gonna get lice, or they're just like, by the way, you're gonna see a lot of lice?
No. Okay, so I will tell you the protocol, and I believe this is still a thing today. So
incredible. Here we go. This is exactly what I want to know.
Okay, so when I first started, and then what they currently do now is because of cosmetology law in the state of Florida is that if you have either like open sores, if you have something oozing, if you have head lice, it is considered a scalp condition. Now, we cannot diagnose it because we are not doctors. So we have to awkwardly check the child's hair to make sure they don't have X, Y, or Z. And so when the little girl walks into the dressing rooms now, the fairy godmothers are like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And do they mimic what the hairstyle is going to look like by grabbing the hair, putting it up and saying, hey, we're going to put a bun like this. What they're doing is they're checking the head before they even get to the chair.
Right. That makes so much sense. Honestly, it makes so much sense.
Right.
So what happens if somebody has it though? Like what occurs?
So back in the day, we didn't have this pre-check happening in the dressing room. We checked in the chair. So then you get a little girl completely dressed up into a costume, sitting in the chair, and we would check and be like, and we would have the code is Pumbaa. right? So you would
Bugs.
Wow.
tell the coordinator or the fairy godmother
Great.
passing by.
Slimy yet satisfying. Thanks, Danielle. I was doing great so far throughout the story until you made me think about eating them. Great. Thanks, Disney.
Well, it's because we could tie it in with
Jeez.
the storylining easily because we were like, we are fairy godmothers are friends with all the Disney characters and we are aware of all of them. We are the bridge between the princesses of like, no, we are aware of all characters in the universes.
Okay, that makes sense.
And so a fairy godmother passed by and be like, oh, fairy godmother, I heard your favorite character was Cinderella. You know, my favorite's Pumbaa. I think he is hilarious. And then that was the code word to go get the coordinator, go get the manager, because you need to have a hard conversation with the parents. And
yikes.
Yeah.
So now we have a screening process, which I think saves a lot. Honest to God, it sounds like it saves a lot of heartache for the kid more than anything.
It really does.
Because, you know, there's a difference between like establishing the idea of expectation and then kind of breaking it versus like getting deep into the experience and the expectation and then hitting a hard wall where it's like where you suddenly get ejected into a cold room like you know, interrogation style. It's like ugh.
Right.
So I think that it's really wise that they do a pre-check now. That's very smart.
Well, Dan, it's cosmetology law.
You know what? It's fair. You know, I'm glad that it's cosmetology law. I'm glad that it's something that like
You don't want the cosmetology sheriff to come by and
it's a real thing, man.
Yeah.
You can get fined.
You can.
They'll get you.
Why do you think
They'll
Lucky
get
Lou
you.
shut down?
There you go. I don't even know what that is.
The ancestor of the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique concept from 2006.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Incredible. That's incredible. So you were part of the transition from downtown Disney to the castle, right? Like,
well, not the castle per se. It was the cottage.
The back of it. It's the castle. It's the castle.
No,
I
it's
watched enough Game of
Cinderella's
Thrones
cottage.
that if I walk 3 feet from the castle, I'm still in the castle. All
No,
right?
no.
It's
I wasn't in the castle though.
Sure. You were behind the castle walls. If the kingdom were to be invaded, you would be safe. The commoners out in the hub on Main Street, desolation. But you were behind the castle walls, brah.
Okay, to be fair, so you just popped up these photos, right? These are from
Yes.
2 different locations.
Oh, okay. Which locations? Tell me.
So when the group photo right here is located inside the updated location that's inside Disney Springs. So closest to Earl of Sandwich, that little water play area. This is what I helped open.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
And the other one right there where I'm like looking dramatically into the middle distance,
Yes.
that is the castle location. That is inside the castle.
I thought it was the cottage location, ma'am. Why are we suddenly changing our tune?
No, I said
that it's
cottage and castle.
No. I can see the difference in costume, actually. It's so funny you mentioned that because I was like, oh, the costumes must have changed. But no, the costumes didn't change. They're different locations. Obviously, they're different locations.
The costumes did change. The castle did not catch up until like right before shutdown. And we had brand new costumes. We had technology that the castle did not use.
Oh, wow.
Right.
That's kind of cool.
So with the cottage location, we originally had a very similar setup. The location inside World of Disney had 12 chairs. It opened in 2006. I was there for the 10-year anniversary. And then right after the 10-year anniversary, they opened up this location. And the reasoning why was because in 2015, after a year I was working there, the boutique that out of these 12 chairs in World of Disney made a profit of over $1 million. Wow. So, and that's just from 12 little chairs turning right there. And it was the post Frozen apocalypse and the Elsa dresses. And really, Elsa is the one that paid for this entire boutique.
I believe it. I truly believe it.
It was amazing. So the cost of the building and the refurb and putting in the technology cost just about $1 million. So the profits that were made paid for this building.
And that makes sense, quite honestly, because I don't think a lot of people realize that these businesses are like literally, they're like Shark Tank businesses that start up inside of like a mega hub that is the Disney, the Disney umbrella. And so they've got like a CEO, they've got like a manager, they've got a vice president, you know what I mean? Like there's a guy overseeing chunks of the parks here, there, here. And so when you got a little pocket business inside the business, it's booming, baby. You know what I mean? It's time to expand. It's time to like, sometimes the money that an attraction or a thing makes gets reinvested back into that thing.
Yes.
I know it's crazy. I know it's rare. I know you're all used to buying $7 Coca-Colas to like, keep the lights on at Epcot, but there are some times that, buildings make money and like the brand grows. And Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique is an incredible example. Can you tell me, because I did it once as an adult. We'll talk about that. It's at the end of the agenda, but I want to know as a kid, when I walked through the door, after you check my scalp for, infestations, what do I get to like, am I like walked into like a Mickey wardrobe of like every princess outfit in every size, and like with accessories? And is it like a one price? Is it like a one price for like this experience and then one price fits all dresses, or do you pay a la carte? How does it work?
So it is a package system, and it has always been a package system. The current setup of now, everything I'm about to tell you is what is currently going on in the castle. Because
great.
The other locations inside the Grand Floridian and Disney Springs have not reopened post-COVID. So they are still closed. Only one place is operating.
Right. And that, honestly, that makes sense. The trajectory of a lot of things have changed, and it still drives traffic. And I'm sure it's still very popular. Every time I walk by it, there's 20 strollers parked out front of it. It's not like it's not doing business, but the goals, I think, of different locations have changed. And to have that be a driver into the park, into the Magic Kingdom, Cinderella's Royal Table, Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, it's like a nice package. Like you can really sell a package, and by leaving it there and keeping it there.
Oh yeah. So they do have to make a reservation way in advance, the 6 months, like out in advance that you can. And it is like a hair, makeup, and nails package is the base. That's what everything comes with. So you get to choose a hairstyle. You get all the accessories with that hairstyle. You get a little makeup palette that looks like little kid makeup, but it says Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. You get a little,
and you're doing
polish.
the makeup from that palette, right?
Huh?
Like, are you taking that palette and doing their makeup?
Yes.
Or are you using their own? Okay, cool.
Yes.
So it's like, here's a sample, and that like, it's like Ultra Sephora. You know what I mean? You're buying the sample essentially, which is kind of cool.
Right. And so then the little girl gets to pick out her colors from the little palette, like what kind of lip gloss she wants. Now, the lip gloss doesn't have any color to it, really. And then the eyeshadows are
It's just for the shine.
Right. Just a little shimmer and a little face gem. And then they get a cute little, like, string bag that says Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique on it. It's very, very cute. I am not sure what the prices are nowadays, but I believe it's up to $85 for the basic package.
That sounds about right. I mean, that's what you're paying for like a premium pedicure as an adult.
It used
honestly.
to be $65 when I was there.
Right.
So
that's what you used to pay for a premium pedicure, and it's gone up about $20 after COVID. So that makes sense.
And the next one, the next packages up can include dresses, and different levels of dresses. So there's the dresses that you get you get to choose from any princess dress that's usually available. Right now, there are a lot of manufacturing delays with most princess dresses, or you can bring in your own dress, and then we can set it up in the changing room, and you can get changed before you go meet your fairy godmother.
Oh, so you can BYOD and just get the makeup package and do that whole thing. Whoa, right. That's interesting. And people, I mean, if you bought a Halloween costume out there, at home that there are different tiers of Halloween costumes. There are the ones you can get at Walmart that are like $35, and everything is just one piece of fabric that's printed. And then there are ones you can go to HalloweenCostumes.com and get one for $85, and it's a custom piece of clothing that was made and not just pooped out of a printer. And so there are tiers. All princess dresses are not created equally, and you can get it done with like the lower end ones. Like it gets done. Like they look cute in a picture,
right.
You know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. But the higher end ones, it's a take home. It's a play as princess for another year or two until you grow out of it. Like these things last.
It is. People get crazy about their princess dresses. Like my favorite was, there was a dad that man was made out of money. Like, I'm pretty sure he was a Club 33 member, and he made a reservation first thing in the morning. She was one of the first princesses to come in, and she had a different custom gown for all 6 days that they were there. And she would pick out a different hairstyle every single time. These dresses were like custom, like du jour.
Wait,
Chanel.
are you saying that she came in every morning, like a barbershop
every
appointment?
morning, 6 days in a row for her entire vacation, and had on these gigantic, like you think they were like quinceanera dresses. And these were legit. And then she would sit down so elegantly in this giant poofy thing that would cover the entire chair. And she had one fairy godmother that in the beginning, I think she had come before the year previously and had a repeat fairy godmother. That was her fairy godmother that like worked that entire time, luckily.
That makes sense. You know what? It works for a kid. I mean, I kind of balk at that, but at the same time, as a dad, knowing that if I had the means to like literally create a magical moment, you know, like I would do that for my kids. You're absolutely gosh darn right. I would take my kid to Fairy Godmother's Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique every morning to get her stuff did. You know, like why wouldn't I?
Right.
If I was rolling in the dough? And like that's like a real magical. I mean, Dad, you're setting the bar high, bro, for like future Daytons. You know what I mean? Future men looking to date this woman. She's like, yeah, you could take me on a date, but it has to begin at the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, where I will pick one of my custom Dior gowns. And then my fairy godmother, who ascended from the skies like Jesus, apparently, as she is going to do my hair. It's like, you're 35. I know how old I am. Do you want me or not?
I was going to say that adulthood is going to be a very interesting experience for this child.
Right.
The child's name, Ben Platt. Yeah. So, I mean, there you go.
Oh, my.
Okay, all the Ben Platt haters are going to come at me. I think that it's kind of cool in a lot of ways because the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique is like baby's first Dapper Day in a lot of ways. You are like literally injecting the bug into these kids to be like, oh, I can come to this big playground. I can come to this big stage and I can be like a little pretend actor myself. Like I can do it up. I can like dress to the theme. I don't have to just wear my dad's wearing a t-shirt that says he's broke, but I can come here looking, you know, gorgeous, or I can come here looking beautiful. I can come here looking like it's the prom, because I'm surrounded by the most beautiful photo locations, surrounded by the most beautiful immersion, you know, a beautifully taken care of, like, you know, park. It's cool. It's really cool that the fairy godmothers, in a way, you kind of incept the seed of Dapper into their brains.
Yes.
It's neat.
It is. Well, I would argue it goes even further than that, of like, not to brag, but the fairy godmothers and the fairy godmother apprentices now, we are with the kid for up to like 15 to like 30 minutes at a time. And we are pouring our heart and souls into these kids and storytelling, where a princess only interacts with these kids for less than 2 minutes. So when...
Yeah, and it's a script, and it's awful, and I hate it. I despise live face actor interactions at the parks these days because you're stuck to a script. The park is already so loud, and, you know, like Snow White being like, oh, I'm gonna go back to the forest and, you know, get my chipmunks and collect boysenberries. It's like, bitch, speak up, I can't hear you. You know what I mean? It's like, it's impossible. And then the kids are just being like, yeah, I don't know what a boysenberry is. Have you seen TikTok, bro? You know, but the princesses are allowed to interact, you know, like you got like Alice being like, oh, the people trapped in your strange box.
Well,
you know what I mean?
We still did that also,
God,
though.
Stop.
We did that also.
I know. It's so dumb to me. It's so dumb to me that we still do that.
It was amazing.
It's so dumb.
It was amazing.
It's so dumb.
Because we had code words for everything. And we loved it because we could like build off of this storytelling of like, so what was it? We would call, so like parents would be like taking pictures and the dad would say, oh, I'm going to post this on Twitter. And I was like, what are you doing with the birds? What you twitting about? What are you doing? And or like
I don't know, Danielle. I could logic myself out of that. Have you seen Wreck-It Ralph 2? Because Wreck-It Ralph 2 opens the doorway for the fairy godmother to just be like, yeah, baby, tweet it out.
Well,
I was just hanging out with Ralph on the net. We were at ohmydisney.com. No one was there. It was a desolate wasteland. I can't believe they put ohmydisney.com in a freaking Disney sequel as like a plot point. You know what I mean? As like an anchor being. ohmydisney.com, and now it's gone. Anyway, there is a place for the playfulness of like, you know what I mean? I'm just saying that there are interactions that leave me wanting more. Where fairy godmothers, you like get to hang out with them for a while. It's cool.
We got the flexibility of, we didn't have to be like super put together like Cinderella. We could be goofy because we were in training. We were apprentices. We were still learning about the human world and also about the fairy godmother world. And we would tell these ridiculous stories when it came to like hair gel. And we would say, oh, do you know what this is? This is jellyfish jelly. And we would talk about how Ariel went down to this bottom of the sea and how she collects jellyfish jellies, that she tickles all these different jellyfish. And then in return that they get this jellyfish jelly, which is ridiculous if you really think about it. And, so we would.
And slightly erotic.
I'm just going to go there, but yes. And
you told the story, man.
I know. But okay. So anyway,
I feel like I'm in the Country Bear Jamboree all of a sudden with how bizarrely erotic it's all getting.
Yeah. And but we would be able to like elaborate on these stories, and then these little girls would get so curious and ask us, "Hey, why are you a fairy godmother in training? Like, how do you become a fairy godmother in training?" And the main question is like, how old are you? And a fairy godmother or a fairy godmother apprentice is over 1,000 years old. You have to wait until you're 1,000 years old until you can become a fairy godmother apprentice.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And depending on if you were a coordinator or a trainer or whatever, most of the fairy godmothers, like the CPs and the college program kids, would say, oh, I'm 1,800 years old, or I'm 2,100 years old. And it was just adding zeros to their age. And then I loved coordinating or training, and they would be like, that just means you're 21. And then they would be like, you see that lady over there? That's Fairy Godmother Danielle. Fairy Godmother Danielle, how old are you? And I would say 3,757. And they would be like, wait, what? What does that mean? And they're like, that's because Fairy Godmother Danielle, that's why she has that special Jiminy Cricket on, or that special gold plaque right there that says coordinator, because she knows all the things. And
Danielle was here before time, before light,
literally,
before thought,
literally.
Danielle was before was.
Yes, literally. Don't overthink it, y'all. Don't overthink it, but it's true. It's true. You think that's how I get all my Disney knowledge, my random Disney things in the middle of the night? It's because I've been there since the Bibbidi Bobbidi beginning, is what it is.
I love that. You actually have been there since the Bibbidi Bobbidi beginning of something very unique that no one remembers, and I want to talk about it. You were a fairy frost mother in training, right? Let's you said it already, that the Elsa machine, and Disney was good at first at taking Frozen and injecting it right into the parks. Everything from World of Color, Anna and Elsa had a meet and greet behind Pinocchio at Disneyland. Like, it was like, they took Stage 17 at California Adventure and literally turned it into Arendelle. Like, they did things very quick, very Bibbidi Bobbidi fast. And one of the things they did was flip a Bibbidi Bobbidi experience that was Frozenified into the parks. Can you tell me about this, Danielle? You're in a photo, I think. Is that you?
I am. So how this process worked is that there was this hair extension hairstyle, which is what you see these two little twins modeling.
Oh yeah, look at that. They have hair. They have hairs, and they're twins. I didn't even realize that.
They are twins. Oh my God. They were so shy. When I tell you, they were so shy and so starstruck. They were the sweetest girls, though. I loved them so much.
We were grown in a lab to come here. Walt, we saw Father Walt in a jar. His head spoke to us, and he said, "Go, children, and get your hair braided."
The supreme beings of the Aryan race.
And now we're here with Mother Danielle, who was here before time, who was here before thought, and now she shall braid our hair, and we shall be photographed.
Well, okay, so these hairstyles had to be created because, I don't know if you know this, but Anna and Elsa's hairstyle is copyrighted. So...
Incredible.
Yes.
Whoa.
So,
okay. Wait a minute.
And the same thing
Tell
happens
me about this.
with all the other hairstyles that come out of the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. So all the hairstyle and the merchandise and like how it's put together, that's why the hairstyle has to leave the boutique looking a certain way and why we can't add in additional accessories. So if a parent brings in a tiara, we are not allowed to add it because that is not the copyright and it can't leave the doors looking altered.
Whoa.
Right. And so Elsa's hair and Anna's hair had to be done a specific way. And Elsa's braid had to go on, wait, let me make sure it was correct. Had to go on her left shoulder because that's copyright. If it's on the copyright, right, it's not correct. And you have to redo the entire hairstyle.
Okay. I thought I was going crazy when I went to Universal Studios 2 weeks ago and ordered butterbeer ice cream with chocolate chips. And they're like, "Sorry, sir, butterbeer ice cream is trademarked and cannot be garnished with any toppings. We can put the toppings on the side, but the butterbeer trademark does not allow us to modify the ice cream in any way, shape, or form." Yep. And I was like, y'all are psychopaths. But now it's all starting to come together now. It's all starting to, oh my God.
Dust. Even down
late
the
stage capitalism has made it into your daughter's hair.
Yes.
Is it copyrighted that the hair has to go through the arm like the error in the movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the upgraded package that we make that happen.
The hair has to clip.
Yeah.
No clip hair. These are no clip hair. Hair extensions.
No clip hair. Yeah.
Well, and then I think
clips,
they're actually hair ties.
Oh, that you braid into the top of?
Yes. Well, no, you're not actually. Yeah, yes and no. The Anna and Elsa hairstyle was the bane of my existence. And thing about it, so these were the only two hairstyles that we offered in this location when Anna and Elsa took over Frozen Summer Fun at Hollywood Studios. And this was when? 2016? 2015?
Yeah, that makes sense.
2016, I think. Pretty sure.
Yeah, 2012 was the Disneyland, 2012, 2013 was the big Stage 17 thing. So that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes.
They're rolling this stuff out left and right. Yeah.
Yes. And these hairstyles first premiered on the cruise ships. Cruise ships got X, Y, and Z first because they don't have to go through the same cosmetology laws that California and Florida have to go through.
Right. It's maritime cosmetology law. You know what I mean? It's like pirate cosmetology law. That's why they're only open.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's casinos and the barbershops are only open when we're in international waters.
Literally. And the oh gosh. And
this episode is full of gems, by the way. I'm learning so much.
Oh yes. Well, and so this is the end of the Frozen apocalypse when the Anna and Elsa dress first released, right? Do you remember any of this era of Disney Store?
Oh yeah, man! If it was just you mean the Frozen store, not the Disney store?
No. When they ran out of dresses, and it literally created riots and fistfights in the middle of malls across America.
Oh wow! No, I didn't know about this shortage. That's incredible.
It was crazy. So Anna and Elsa, they were not prepared for the overnight success that this movie was in merchandising at all. So
they're never prepared,
right? Then so they didn't have enough Elsa dresses, and they didn't have enough Anna coronation dresses. They finally. So they would have a lottery system at the Disney stores to be like, we have X, Y, and Z of this size and this size. And people would line up outside of these stores with numbers and raffles to even have a chance of being able to buy a dress. And
wow, I did the same thing to get a GameCube.
Literally. And when it came to the parks got first dibs of when dresses arrived back. And there weren't enough to go into the World of Disney store. So you only could purchase it in the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique with an exclusive package.
Genius.
However, we had
genius.
to call security and have fairy godmothers escort Elsa's out because you would have these randos walk up to these families and be like, I will pay you $500, $1,000 for the dress that your daughter is currently wearing so I can take it back and make money off of it. And we would have to escort the princesses out of the building. It was a lot. So
yikes.
We finally
and now I'm imagining merchandise resellers leaving the parks with 2 oversized bags full of children wearing Elsa dresses.
well, no, not that.
No, I bought these. It's fine.
That's right.
I don't ask what I'm going to do with them
Don't
at
ask what
home.
they're
I'm not
screaming. Don't ask what
reselling
they're making
them.
noise.
Yeah, that's what the baby stroller is for, Dan, when they bring those in and put stuff in.
Right.
And
yeah, that was an unfortunate time. And then the Anna dresses, right when they were finally getting around to getting back up to normal, the Anna dresses all got an all call and a recall because the inner underlining dress that was green, the little girls were wearing it so much that it was staining their legs green because the dye was transferring.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yikes.
So
yikes.
The boutique came in after that, the epidemic, after the craziness of the Frozen apocalypse. And it was amazing. So it was located in the location where Mickey and Minnie meet currently in Hollywood Studios. And those used to be the old audition rooms for the American Idol experience.
Rooms. Yeah, they sure were. Yeah. And so there were all these nice little partition rooms all built out in that space that were really probably very useful for the whole experience.
They were. And when we came in, it was literally the decorating team the night before we opened finally received in all these snowflake decals and were like, because the American Idol logo was placed into the flooring and was on all these plaques everywhere. And so they're just taking them. Snowflake here. You get a snowflake. You get a snowflake. And it's just these stickers of snowflakes everywhere.
Amazing. I love that. That's so funny. And, if I was smart, I would have left the branding there to be like, God, I can't remember who won the first season of American Idol now. That joke just fell completely apart. Kelly Clarkson.
Yes.
Kelly Clarkson. You'd be like, Kelly Clarkson is fairy godmother in training. Did you guys not know that? She gave us the space. Obviously, she's a fairy godmother. Look at this beautiful angel of a woman. She walks on cream. You know what I mean? So Kelly Clarkson, everyone, America's Idol's first fairy godmother. And if a fairy godmother would have hosted American Idol instead of Ryan Seacrest, I think it still would have been successful. Honest to God. I'm honestly, dreams come true, baby. Fairy godmother would have made it sell better, if you ask me. They should have had the American Idol experience have a panel with fairy godmother, you know what I mean, Snow White, and like Pocahontas, like 3 powerhouse singers and magicians.
Oh my! Well, so these hairstyles were basically we created this. The space was created to basically test out these Anna and Elsa hair extensions and to create something exclusive without having to train the hundreds of fairies located in the normal boutiques. But what they did is that this was a TA experience, meaning it was a temporary assignment, and ladies from across Disney World property could sign up to do a TA. And
so you didn't need to be a fairy godmother to get this assignment.
They did not. And they only pulled 3 people with previous fairy godmother experiences that were coordinators or trainers, and I was one of the 3.
Dang.
So
you got the glass slipper at the end of the episode.
I was the one that weeks before we opened, I was brought in with the training team and the managers of Hollywood Studios and merchandising for them to be like, okay, this is our operational guide. We need you to go through all this. We need you to help us create the training, and you are going to be the ones training these women in 4 days how to be a fairy frost mother. And
that's cool.
It was an amazing experience. It was so cool.
Wait, what was the lore behind that? Did Elsa birth you like she did Marshmallow? Like, what's the deal?
So this story was, instead of being like an apprentice, we were living on the North Mountain where Elsa's ice palace was created. So when Elsa was up there exploring and creating her castle, she found us fairy frost mothers that are part of the ice fairy community just living up there in the mountains. And she's like,
right.
You also have magical abilities. I want to bring you back to the city of Arendelle and the city or the land, the Hollywood land. And I want you to share these magical stories of me and my sister, and also provide a little bit of your fairy frost mother magic to the citizens of Hollywood land. And it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
I like that lore. And if you read between the lines, it's like a new god ascended as we were living on the mountain. A magical, overpowered being ascended to the top. Yeah. She built a castle my living room was there, and now it's a castle.
Yeah.
And so we had no choice. We had to worship her. She's the ice goddess.
What is it? Who is it? The royal historians from the Frozen sing-along, and they joke that she impaled someone. That was my cousin. She came in and she went ahead and ice skewered them through and threatened us down off the mountain.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, as a fairy frost mother, getting impaled with ice is actually a very relaxing thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just if you don't let us know it's going to happen, we get startled. We might poop ourselves, and that's not. You don't want a fairy frost mother to poop herself out of surprise. It's a huge icicle, guys. It's a huge brown icicle.
I would say
the little turd ice that comes out, that fairy godmother ice is what it is.
I would say though, if you are living in the country and someone comes to you and says, "Hey, I'd like to take you to L.A. And show you the beauty of Hollywoodland," don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't go.
Do that.
Yeah, don't listen.
Yeah.
Don't go to Hollywood. Whatever assignment he has for you is not good. Unless you're a magical fairy frost being that already has her own set of protections, then go to Hollywood.
We have access to be able to call up the fairy godmother sisters. They're a little more hood than we were, and we knew we had people to back us up, is really what it was.
Well, I think it's kind of cool that you're part of Disney history in that way. It's a big moment, like the whole creation of the Elsa Anna princess resurgence. You know what I mean? It brought princesses back.
It did.
Because sure, we had Merida got inducted and Tiana got inducted at those stupid castle ceremonies, and everyone's like, whatever. You know what I mean? But Elsa and Anna, when they showed up, everyone was like, holy crap.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's Ice Jesus. And so it was a really wild ride there for a minute. And we're still feeling the effects of it, honestly, because new generations of kids are coming up and their parents are just being like, well, what's the popular, and Frozen's still the thing. Frozen is still the thing. You go to Disney on Ice now, it's been almost a decade since that movie came out. You go to Disney on Ice and everyone is still singing Let It Go at the top of their lungs. And only within the past 12 months have they switched to Frozen 2 for Disney on Ice in one of their shows, because that's how popular Frozen is. I mean, it's just juggernaut, absolute juggernaut. So it's cool that there was this offshoot Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique that now I assume, can I go to the castle Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique in Magic Kingdom and get the Anna or get the Elsa? Is that there now?
I believe the hairstyle itself was discontinued in the most recent updates of the hairstyles that released.
They got rid of all the hair extensions?
No, they have completely different hair extensions now because they didn't want it to be you only could get the Elsa and Anna package. The thing that was restricting about the Elsa braid is that if you got the Elsa braid, it looked weird with any other princess unless you got Rapunzel or Elsa.
Oh, that makes... You know what? That honestly makes sense.
Because it came with snowflake.
And it's not like they would let you guys kit bash. It's not like they would let you take kits and smash them together to make, everything, like you said, was copyrighted. It had to be this, it had to be that, and so I imagine in a looser universe, if Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique was at Universal, they would be like, yeah, go ahead, smash up whatever, as long as if it makes them happy and it looks good, do it. That's all we care about. Literally all we care about.
The hairstyle itself was actually pretty difficult and couldn't be done on most kids' hair. So if you had
most kids' hair, really that makes total sense too.
Or ethnic hair or braids, it was almost nearly impossible to do it. And I was called in for post Frozen apocalypse, and I went back to the boutique after my assignment was done. I was the one that was on call for okay, somebody got an Elsa. It looks awful. We're going to get called out. Yeah. We need Danielle to come in and fix this. I came up with all the creative things of okay, we could get away with this. We won't be able to get away with this.
Yeah. That makes sense. That's awesome. That's really cool that you were able to because hair is not all created equally. No. It just isn't. I have two girls and their hair are complete opposites of each other. It's bananas to me. So, it's crazy that there are all these, it's great that you had all these hacks to make the hairstyles work, which I think is kind of cool.
It was amazing. I'm not going to lie. I was really good at my job. Not to brag or anything, but I was very good. And
I believe it, Danielle. I know, I believe it. It's why, your charisma alone is like a big part of it, you know, like just it's why I joke that I'd make a good fairy godmother, because the ability to talk to people is like the biggest part of the job. The ability to make people feel seen, which is something kids very much struggle with. I think a lot as a kid, like through your youth, you really struggle to feel seen, especially if you have unregulated parents. And so being at a Disney park helps you feel seen a little bit. It's already like here kid, it's yours, you know, but then having this extra moment where, like you said, 15, 20, 30 minutes, a fairy godmother, she's dialed into you, she's taking care of you.
I can read
it's your moment. It's kind of, it's amazing
drama.
For kids.
I could read into, so mommy and daddy are fighting. This trip is not going well. And I would know whether or not I needed to go ahead and actually body block myself between the parents and the kid and just pour all this energy into this kid. And that was one of the reasons why.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking. And it was to the point where I was getting the parents just got awful. It wasn't the kids. It was the parents themselves. It became so heartbreaking that you just have to go into the back, have a good cry, come back out and do it all over again. And was one of the main reasons why I ended up transferring and going into merchandise afterwards and opening up Ever After Jewelry Company. But
it's interesting. I was going to ask you what got you out, like, you know, what got you out of being a fairy godmother in training.
It was some of that.
Would that really play a factor in it? Like just the trauma of it all? Because I can't, honest to God, I can't sit in lines sometimes at parks and watch families just enter into their unregulated home state where they're behaving normally in their own space. And they're they have blinders on because they're just in their bubble, operating, speaking to each other in ways that you're like, holy God, like I can't believe they're talking to each other this way. I can't believe, and like look at the face of that person versus it's sometimes like as someone who's very empathic, it's destructive sometimes for me in the parks. It ruins my goddamn day. And so I can't imagine what it's like to have like an intimate 30 minutes with these people, you know, like geez.
And you do get a little hard into it, but I was still so empathetic to people, and I think that's why I'm not there as long as some other women are still there today. And, I don't know, that was a lot of it, being so like seeing these situations, be able to read into these situations, and you want to help these kids so much. And you want to love on these kids so much. And, it was harder for me because again, since I was pretty good at my job, I was called in for the not so magical situations.
I bet.
Of like, okay, Princess has been given months to live. And this is literally her last trip to Disney before she passes away here in a couple weeks. And, which was awful because then they would pop up on the generic hashtags and all the fairy godmothers would go see. And that's how we would know if our princess was still alive or not. And so, it was awful. So I got called in for those. I got called in for, mom and dad, because we were in Disney Springs, you didn't have to go through the same security checkpoints at the time that you had to go through in Magic Kingdom. Mom and dad have come in. They are high as a kite. And they have this reservation. Oof. They are willing to go ahead and pay for it. And they were like, very like, Danielle, like, what are we going to do? They reek. They were hotboxing in their car before they came in here. And, but they have a reservation. We need to honor it. I'm like, yeah, I'll take care of it. And, I took advantage of these people so bad. Like, not like the thing is that they'd be so far gone is that they wouldn't be able to say no. And their $60 package at the time, they walked out with a $450 bill by the time I was done with them. Oh, but Princess said she wanted the dress. Oh, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Oh, she also wants the matching shoes. Oh, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Oh, I made budget when those people came
amazing,
in.
That's how you become coordinator,
the amount
Dan. Boom.
Right. Boom. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about, I'm thinking about all the traumatic, but I really, you got to experience everyone's taste of Disney's, like what they expected Disney to be. You know what I mean? You got to see everyone's like level of expectations and, you know, either meet them or not.
And that trauma, I will say, actually helped mold me into who I am today, of like being dapper and being put together, was because of day 3 of training at the boutique. I was in the back because of course we don't go out into the boutique yet. And so we're in a little tiny training room, which is also the coordinator office, behind the boutique in World of Disney. And I'm just doing hair. I'm with my trainer, and then a coordinator and a fairy godmother who was a CP at the time come busting through the doors, and this girl is sobbing. And we're just like, oh my gosh, what's happening? The trainer was also a coordinator and goes into like, do we need to call somebody for you? What is going on? And come to find out is that it was a family of two. They had two princesses in the chair. They were from Brazil. And the fairy godmother, she wasn't ugly. She just didn't have full beat face and makeup on. And she was very sweet, fantastic, darling girl. But the other fairy godmother she was with was an actual cosmetologist, and this was her side gig. So she had like the snatched eyeliner. She had the chiseled cheeks of the early of the 2010s.
Yeah.
And
she beat that face.
And she always looked good. She looked good. So then to have these two fairy godmothers that have different strengths come up, the family, before they even got too far, pulled the manager over and pulled the coordinator over and pointed her out and said, this woman is ugly. We want a prettier fairy godmother. And so then on day 3, I'm the little trainee. I'm baby Danielle, who I think at the time I was 19, like, maybe 20. I just turned
terrified.
20.
Shaking in your boots.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I went home and I'm like,
yes,
Nikki
I'm beating my face every day.
How to do makeup, how to do hair, all this other stuff.
Shantae, you stay. I need to know.
And it's unfortunate how much it made a difference. And then we knew after time of doing it and seeing all these different cultures, and we knew the waves of people like, oh, if we knew cheerleading season was coming in, we had to have our own personal self looking a certain way or else we wouldn't get tips. Or we had to, like, certain demographics came in, we knew how to act. And there was just a lot of training that went into that. But because of that experience of having to be on and ready all the time, have that beat face on, is really what was like, I have to be presentable to everybody at all the time. And some of that came from Fairy Godmother World.
Can I ask about foreign language guests?
Yeah.
And what that is like when you have a verbal kind of wall in between. How do you do the whole haha, look at me, like let's have a conversation about jellyfish jelly when you literally cannot
as
speak
Ursula
language?
says, body language. Yes. Oh my goodness, I got really good at that. We became mimes. It was amazing, the storytelling we could do. And we would, the princess's back half the time would be turned away from the mirror. So she wouldn't be able to see herself until the very end. If there was usually a language barrier, we would mess with them. And we would take like their hair and we would do goofy things. Like the combs, they are pick combs. I mean, it has a little comb piece and then it has the point end. That's what you use to like smooth up all the little flyaways. And we would take it and we would like stick it into their ponytails. And then we would joke that they're a unicorn. And so you're having to mime this, and you're having to like mess with them, and then you learn certain keywords like we had so many Portuguese families and Brazilian families come in, so it would be like, oh, que linda princesa, and all these other different things. You pick up on the keywords,
sure,
and it was fun. And then if you had a fairy godmother that also could speak that language, and to have them come by, it was so fun. Or the parents would translate and you would have goofy fun with them. My favorite were the princesses with hearing disabilities, or they were deaf, and they would teach the fairy godmother sign language, and the parent would translate for them. And the princess would try to like teach the fairy godmother, because the fairy godmother's learning is trying to do all these things, and they would mess up. And so my favorite would be like, I am a beautiful palm tree. And these little girls would think that is the funniest thing, because they see that you're trying, but you're being goofy about it. And that's really sweet. It was fun.
I guess the thing that I'm really taking from the whole fairy godmother situation is that it is literally a core memory for a lot of kids.
Yes.
It's for like their theme park experience. It's the kind of thing that they'll be chasing for a while, because it is a very special thing for them that is made for them. And in a world where so much of stuff that's made for them is so cheap and inauthentic, it really is a very authentic, You know, like, and the expense is not just financially, it's an expense like for the whole family. It's an expense, like everyone is dialed in, everyone is really plugged in, you know, if they're there for the right reasons and they're not being assholes.
Right.
You know, it's an incredible moment. It's a really incredible moment. You know, I remember as a kid, I got picked as the kid who got to eat the slime in the Nickelodeon's behind the scenes tour at Universal Studios. And so I got to stand on stage and eat green pudding, green applesauce with like chunks of green sweet tarts in it, and it was incredible. And I like remember, it's why I think it's why I'm half the goofball I am today, because I'm chasing that like you know that like incredible like moment. That slime high, right? Exactly.
Wow.
And so it's kind of kids are very impressionable, especially at that age, and that's where the parks are really made for them. You know, it's really made for them.
It's cool having a social media platform now because I did the math a long time ago, but I think the average is that I had during my span of being a fairy godmother, I had over 20 to 30,000 kids in my chair. And I was a fairy godmother for that many kids. And now that's being on social media and having this large following, people are going back through and like, if I mention it, they're like, oh, I wonder who my fairy godmother is.
Oh, it was Danielle. How do you like that? Yeah.
This is her. So last Dapper Day, I actually had a princess come up to me and mom said, I want to give this to you. And it was a printout picture of when I was her fairy godmother. And it was her 12th birthday.
That's so cute.
And she was celebrating it was her 10th or 11th birthday. And she was celebrating her 18th birthday. And
that's sweet.
She's like, no, I remember you. You are my fairy godmother. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is beautiful. I love it so much. I made a whole TikTok about it. It was great.
It's a lot of kids. That's an awful lot of kids to have worked on through your day, incepting the Dapper bug into them. As future Dapper Danielle. I have to ask, because you brought up the like needing to have your face beat and looking good and being dapper. What like you've kind of dipped your toe into dapper culture, and I don't want to like go super hard, but like I pulled some of my favorite Dapper Danielle moments that I really love, and I want to talk to you about like what like because like you said, it really you have to be polished, you have to look, it has to be very forward, you have to make really strong choices. What characters, like, what do you get drawn to when you dapper out? Like, what are your favorite dapper moments?
So the term dapper, if you look it up in the Webster Dictionary, is literally the definition is to be neat and trim in dress and appearance. It doesn't take much to be dapper. You just have to look put together. And which most people think is a foreign concept when it comes to going to the parks. So just to like have yourself be like a little, not wearing a t-shirt, not wearing a crop top, not just wearing little stretchy pants into the park. Just to have like some like normal outfit.
Crocs and gym shorts.
Me wearing a skirt to the park is like novel. And so that is
it really is for a lot of people.
Is.
Yeah, you're right. I wear my purple blazer to the parks occasionally when I'm filming, or you know, and people are like, "You look great, man," and I'm like, "Thanks."
Right, and
it's because they're like in their their jogging shorts or whatever, right. So they're athleisure.
See, and then because I try to be dapper and I try to be put together, you have a better interaction with the cast members because you're dressing up for them. Mm-hmm. It's not them dressing up for you. You are the one that's presenting and being like, "Hi, I am valuing your services because I am put together and I value your time, and that's why I'm presenting myself as such." And
absolutely,
because of that, I get blessed with amazing experiences of like people are like, "Oh, you look fantastic," or I have these really great conversations, or I'll get like a free cake pop from Starbucks because the girl likes my outfit or whatever. And which
I've had that experience too, where you just cast members get excited that you're participating, right. And they jump on board with you. But I think that there's a difference though between just looking trimmed and like clean cut, because there's a certain level of camp that you bring to your dapperness, and there's a certain level of camp that comes to Disney dapperness in general. Like Disney bounding is being dapper with camp, if you ask me. Like that's kind of my definition of it. You're taking this theme and you're being a little campy with it. You're giving a little wink and a nod while still looking, polished and nice and trim. So the Orange Bird, C-3PO, one of the muses, like these are beautiful dapper looks, but they're also incredibly campy.
You actually picked out a great 3 to show the different levels of like a true Dapper bound, more of a like a Disney bound, that in between of a Disney bound costume and then a full on cosplay, right? So the C-3PO outfit is a regular dress that I have, and then I just created accessories to add to it to tell the story, to continue it forward. And that's just in color blocking.
I noticed you left your golden grills at home. I really think that would be a great addition if you had ball or gold teeth when you were C-3PO now. And also, where's the one? Did you have one red sock? Because doesn't he have like he had like a different colored leg his entire existence, just no one notices it.
What is it?
You wore different colored stockings.
Yeah, no. We're talking pre the Anakin era is what we were doing, not the post.
Okay. OGC3PO.
Right. And so that was one spectrum.
C3POG is what I should have said there. Jesus, Dad, get it together.
Oh, God. And then the Orange Bird outfit, it's a normal dress. And actually, the dress was one piece, and then the sleeves were from a shirt that I cut the sleeves off and I sewed it to this dress. And
incredible. I love that. And how long did it take you to train the Orange Bird to land on your hand like that? I know,
right? The magic of Disney Photo Pass. And
I sound like a lunatic when I walk around the parks because I just go up to people in green shirts. I'm like, do you have magic? I don't want regular photos. I only want magic. Do you have magic?
And then people are just like, and passerbys are just like, is that a code for something? What is that?
Oh, there's Disney Dan screaming in the parks again, I guess.
Accurate. Nobody's surprised anymore. And
but there's a dapper look that has to be my favorite, and you were dapper somewhere that very few people have dappered, and I really want to talk about this iconic moment of you being dapper in Marceline, Missouri, because I think that is probably one of the coolest things that you've done. If I'm being honest, I think it's amazing. You got to go out there with like the Walt Museum and like and like do this whole bit. Like, what was this? Tell me about this.
So I was invited out with Twin Sauce, because Twin Sauce, Luke and Paul, fantastic dancers and choreographers on social media. I've become online friends with them, and then real friends in real life. And they were like, "Hey, Citizens hosting this event. Would you like to come out? And they want to do stuff with you." And I'm like, "Yeah, is that fine?" And Walt's barn is just located behind Miss Kay's house, which is where Walt Disney stayed. This is the house that was built on the original property. And then Walt came back and stayed there later on in his life when he returned to Marceline, Missouri. And then the barn was created where it would have been on the property. And I was like, okay, I have this dream. I have this idea of I want to create a 1900s look from when Walt Disney would have been there. So like living museum-esque, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, and I think you nailed it. I think you nailed it.
And I really wanted to have a look that was very simple, because, of course, the people of Marceline in 1905 or 1909 were very simple people. I mean, Midwest of the Midwest. And you're getting dressed up for cows, trains, and corn. And so it was very great color palette. I brought the shirt. That is the only thing that I brought. And I brought my fairy godmother abilities of being able to do period hair.
Your hair,
which was awesome. And
what'd you do, to salvage the skirt from a dumpster or something? What an odd way to start the story.
The skirt, brooch, and hat are actually because of Twin Sauce. So before we went to Marceline, I flew into Kansas City because that was the easiest place to get into to be able to get to Marceline. So Luke and Paul have friends that work in the theater district of multiple different theater houses in Marceline. Yeah. I said, hey, I need this. Do you know who we can talk to? And one of their best friends does costuming for people, and they went digging through to find these random pieces. And we made this. So that way I didn't have to lug the crinoline. I didn't have to lug this giant hoop skirt with me from Orlando. My luggage could not fit.
That's awesome. So essentially you stole this from a production of Music Man. I understand now. It's all coming together. It's all coming together now.
I'm walking out there and the Wells Fargo wagon music is playing off in the distance.
Yeah. Walt, that's how Walt came to town. He rode the Wells Fargo wagon, eating chili. I think that's how the legend goes. As we finish up our section here of of Fairy Godmother Dapper Danielle, I want to talk about my fairy godmother experience that I got to have, because I did a fairy godmother experience on the Wish during the only time they let adults in the door, and that's for Pirate Night. And so on the Wish, you can have the fairy godmothers, because Pirate Night, everyone's busy with the activities. You can go in there and look like you got beat up and stabbed. And I was like, absolutely, sign me up. So, and they gave me because I'm such a rotund man, I really didn't fit into a lot of the pirate accessories that they had. So they kind of like scavenged some stuff for me. They gave me a bird and a sword and an eye patch and an earring. That is the purple blazer. That is the purple blazer. Yeah. And an Amazon pirate shirt, and I played the game, and everyone should play the game when they're on a Disney cruise on Pirate Night. Find the Amazon pirate shirts, because it's what everyone buys. It's this exact shirt. They're everywhere on the cruise ship on Pirates Night. It's my favorite thing to do. But it was really, really fun. They made me like roll dice and like at the beginning of the experience to like get a number, and then they used that number to like make my pirate name. And I got like this big pirate scroll with like a map on it and like information. And they gave me a black eye, a scar on my cheek. They gave me eyeliner to like make me look, real sophisticated. And it was a whole to do. I had to do like a pirate like chant. And I was surrounded by children also doing this, which is the best part about it. I have a 16-minute video. I don't know I should put it somewhere.
If only you had a YouTube channel.
I guess TikTok. I could put it on TikTok. Well, I mean, it's a vertical 16-minute video of me getting makeup put on my face, but maybe I can cut it down to like a 10-minute TikTok or something. Or just put it on one
side, and then you're on the other side explaining what's happening.
Oh, there you go. That's not a bad idea. It was really, really fun. Did you ever get to do adults as a fairy godmother? Like, were there adult experiences ever in the parks like there are on the boats?
So when the boutique originally opened, and mind you, it was before the castle was created. It was only at the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique inside the World of Disney store. And so from like 2006 to about 2000, I want to say it was maybe 9 or 10. For the first few years, as the boutique was gaining popularity, it was open to any and all ages, from the age of 3 to the age of 99, 100, right? And
like a Lego set.
Literally a Lego set. And it was cool because then there was the opportunity once upon a time that you could have multiple generations in a chair next to each other. So you had
that's sweet.
I think the OG fairies told me that the oldest person they had in a chair was 98 years old, and she was there with her daughter, her daughter's daughter. So there was 4 generations next to each other. And it was such a cool experience. That's cool. Grandma got at the time, it was called the rock star hair, which was these braids in the front with these little clips and this giant spiked out rainbow hair. I mean, early 2000s Y2K core.
Yeah, well, Grandma's hair is already purple, so just adding the other colors was easy.
Yes. And it was great. However, it got to the point where the boutique became so popular that they weren't, number one, they weren't charging enough. The adults would come in, make a reservation, and did not realize that because the fairy godmothers were only a certain level of cosmetology, they weren't allowed to use hot tools. All the looks were copyrighted, so we couldn't alter them. And having to explain that in character to an adult was harder than explaining it to a kid.
Sure. Yeah. Kids can hear no, and they're like, okay, yeah, I hear no all the time, thanks. But you say no to an adult, they're like, excuse me, I am paying for this.
And you're just like, yeah, but the mouse is paying me to tell you no.
Yeah.
And
yeah. But Mickey's watching. He's watching everywhere.
Literally. And so that was some of it. And then the other 2 factors were back to head lice. Unfortunately, it's harder to tell a parent that they can't have an experience because they have lice versus like their kid. And that's a hard conversation. And actually 3 reasons. The second reason was that these adults or these groups of women or whatever, like before the bachelorette party got to where it was today, like the OG bachelorette parties would come into the boutique, get dolled up, and then they would still be wearing these princess like hairstyles and then going to Epcot and getting plastered.
Getting it trashed.
Which was not a good look.
That's so funny to me. That is how we should start doing that again. But just an adults only Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique at Epcot, and it's villain. Yep. It's just all like villainy, kind of like hot mess Cruella hairstyles, and Mother Gothel and stuff like that.
They tried it?
Well, it wasn't at Epcot. It was called Disney Couture, and it was these.
Oh my God, I remember this. Yes, they would do you just go in there and say, I want a character, and they would just
because
magic it up, right?
Cosmetologists, they weren't bound by the copyright that we were stuck with.
But COVID killed it though, right? COVID killed it, I think. Didn't it? Yeah, COVID killed it. Yeah, for sure. I remember that. I totally remember that. And everybody at the time, I was like, I would go in there and be like, yeah, give me the Dreamfinder. But what would they do? Just put give me rainbow hair or some stupid thing. I don't know. It wasn't for me. But if you were like going to do like a Cruella or like whatever it is, if you wanted that princess look or whatever specific character look, they could bang it out for you.
So that's another photo shoot that I was a part of, is that if you look up, it was Character Couture, and it was when they were promoting it heavily, and they did a photo shoot and a mini event at Disney Springs. I'm the model. And they made me an Ursula look. I had shorter hair at the time, so they took it. They added this gray purple stuff, gave me the Ursula hairstyle. And
that's really cool.
They can give you eyelashes. They can give you like the little fake eyelashes. So I had gigantic drag queen style eyelashes that were heavy as all get out, but they glowed in the dark. And
that's cool.
I got to model the little dress and everything. So it still exists out there on Instagram. I'm pretty sure it's down there towards the bottom.
We'll find it. Oh, we're going to find it now, baby.
And
we're going to look for it.
So that was fun. And
Is the Pirates thing that they did for kids over at the Pirates, was that an extension of Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, or was that a completely different
No,
company?
it was so Pirates and Fairies, even though they did not get along, they were one and the same. They were also that's it.
There it is. Whoa!
Yes,
that's incredible. Look at old Quick Toes over here, Nathan. On the Google
me nothing for no reason.
Wow.
But
that's cool. That's cool.
So the
Disney Couture is what it was called, right?
Couture. Yes.
Character Couture.
And it was a lot of fun. They could do anything you wanted. And if you had your own costume, the most popular stuff was doing like Maleficent braids. And if you had like your own horns, like you would take that and they could braid your hair into the horns that you had.
That's cool. That's really
cool.
The lost Disney fashions, it's so interesting, like the stuff that's come and gone. And what's even crazier is that you have been there for most of it.
I'm still there for a lot of it. I'll get back to your Pirates thing, but to say that I'm still there for a lot of it is that if you're listening and you're a cast member or a tour, like a cast member that works at the reservation center, my face still plays on repeat in the reservation centers. Because I was the model fairy godmother for the informational ad explaining this is what the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique is. These are the step-by-steps so you can explain it to guests.
That's cool.
And so I would have people, cast members still come up to me and be like, you look really familiar. And I'm like, yeah, was it
I trained you on
did.
Bibbidi Bobbidi
Boutique in
the future.
your office on repeat, but I didn't have the name tag Danielle. I forgot my name tag that day, so I was Jackie from like West Virginia or something like that.
Oh my gosh. Every day since I've met cast members, I have never felt a level of more distrust going into the parks now, because I'm a big fan of like talking to people with their names. I'm like, thanks, Steve, or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, they're wearing the name tag, might as well acknowledge who they are. But now I'm like, are you really Steve, you son of a bitch? Or did you forget your name tag, Jack, and you just found Steve in the back room in a bowl with all the other leftover name tags? Yep.
It's true.
My goodness. What an incredible level of distrust, Dapper Jackie.
Well, it was fun because then I could get away with stuff that day. And if they complained about a Jackie, there's no Jackie in the location. So we would never get the complaint.
Bro, I wouldn't wear my real name tag ever. I would never wear my real name tag. I'd be up to all kinds of antics as Steve or Paul. You know what I mean? That's so great. So every episode we talk to our guest about what they're up to for fun, like what they're doing for fun, what's fun right now. So just think about that for a second, Danielle, as I share my fun thing, which is that I have located a Target salvage store in my local area that I could go to now, and it's just called the Half Off Store, but it is a Target salvage store, and you go in there and you spend $200 and you felt like you spent $800 $1,500 at Target. It's bananas.
Because you're getting all the furniture that's discontinued and all the stuff from like, what's the brand? Like
rugs. Piles of rugs for $20 a rug. Just grab whatever you want from the pile of rolls. It's $20. You know what I mean? End tables, lamps, bicycles. They just have rows of bins of things that are just $1, $3, $5. Just you just buy 10, get 10 free. You know, it's bananas. Amazing. So I've been swimming in I came this close to buying one of those like above ground pools you see at Target. It was only $90. It was only $90. It's like, I'll try it for $90. I'll even do like ridiculous social media stunts, like trying to like birth myself through the side, you know, Ace Ventura style. But for $90, come on. So it's been a wild ride. I've been spending a lot of money and time just having fun in the Target half off store. But you know, it's great. Miniverse all got recalled. These like little resin art kits that you do for kids, they all got recalled because kids were like drinking them or whatever. I don't know, something stupid. But now they're just like bins of them for $1 a ball. Oh my God, I'm swimming in Miniverse now, baby. It stinks like resin in my house and it's glorious. So that's what I've been doing, is going to Target half off stores.
Oh my.
Nathan, can you explain to me what a Giga Bash is?
My thing I'm really into right now is it's on lots of platforms like Xbox and whatever, but I'm playing it on Nintendo Switch. It is a video game called Giga Bash. And if you like kaiju fighting, if you like Godzilla fighting games, that sort of thing, Giga Bash is what that is. So there's no good kaiju fighting game for a long time. And they finally released one, and they have all these fun, unique characters. There's like a first player mode, but you can also play people online. And the coolest thing is that Giga Bash worked with Toho and some other Japanese companies. And so you can buy DLC for Godzilla. So I have Godzilla, I have Destera, you can get King Ghidorah.
You got to remember to tell Rob this later
so
when we
like
get on with him, because he is going to be into it.
Giant Japanese monsters.
Yeah, and you can like grab buildings and chuck them at each other, and it's a brawl.
Is there a Pacific Rim DLC?
No, there should be. There probably will be. It's very much kind of like Super Smash Brothers in that sense of like a larger, wider angle. And you can also get Ultraman.
Can you play as a kaiju pacifist?
You can. You'll die, but you can. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, just give peace a chance.
Yeah,
just
but
try
you can play as a
round and see if Ultraman
leaves
you alone.
A big.
Whoa! I live my life as a Yeti.
There is
so
one
that's
called
interesting.
Wooly the Yeti, who is very much looks like you, Dan. He's this round, jolly guy. And his story.
How dare you? How dare you? That the first thing you described as
round
when you say
you are
Yeti
the one
and
that
not
talked
furry,
about being Santa Claus at the beginning of this episode. So.
Yeah, but Santa Claus doesn't necessarily mean round,
a bowl full of jelly. All right.
No, you're right. When Tim Allen killed Santa Claus, the first thing that happened to him was turning fat. So it's fine. I get it. It's fair.
Simmons in the new Red One trailer that just released.
That's none of that A24 Santa bullshit's real, in my opinion. Like all this, like, edgy Santa, whatever. Bad Santa was fine. That's it. Let's just stop.
So anyway,
you know, like. Silent Night, though. Silent Night, the Die Hard Santa movie, it was cool. That was cool. I like that. Can you do more of that? But others, the J.K. Simmons, just Spider-Man, smoke a cigar. That's all I want from Mr.
Giga Bash is lots of fun. Ultraman's on there. If you ever wanted Ultraman to fight Godzilla, now you have the chance to do it. So
I wake up every morning thinking about it. So it's so great that you said that, because now I can finally fulfill my dreams. Thank you. Thank you for dropping Giga Bash into my life.
Get it? We'll fight.
Danielle, what are you doing for fun these days?
You mentioned this beforehand. I was just like, I'm still really having fun with my content creation. And like a lot of people have been asking me here recently.
I thought we talked you out of this answer.
I thought we talked you out of. I feel like I need to go ahead and say both, because this is a real question I've gotten here recently. Of a lot of other content creators right now are experiencing some major burnout, and I think it's because they signed up for this gig of thinking that they could be Disney content creators, and a lot of them are fantastic Disney content creators, but they're not having fun with it anymore. And it is, you can tell in their content. I'm still having a lot of fun with it. And in between all the things that I'm doing, and because of content creation, I have recently moved, and I now have this fantastic apartment, which you can tell doesn't have anything hung up on the walls yet. And it's because I'm trying to create my orange bird paradise. I am literally creating my sunshine tree terrace. And
that's cool.
It's coming along slowly in my kitchen, but it really needs to come together with more of my wall decor and more of the aesthetic that I'm going to bring into the place. So just doing the research and like putting together my collage of all these different art pieces from.
Does it mean you have to keep a lot of fresh citrus in the house?
Well, and no,
she lives in Florida. She lives in Central Florida.
And plenty of like orange essential oils.
Yeah, you can find oranges literally on the road in Central Florida. She's fine.
That's true. Do you have to keep orange juice on stock?
No,
like all the time?
No.
If you have the Sunshine Terrace? What do you mean? No. Do you keep those frozen cups of like citrus twist in the freezer? Like you have to commit to something, Danielle.
Well, that's the thing is that I'm slowly building it and I'm having fun with it. Okay, I am.
Okay,
I'm
there you go.
Creating this like I don't want it to be just straight Orange Bird copyright merchandise.
You want it to be gay Orange Bird copyright merchandise.
No. I'm saying that I don't want...
That was a great dad joke, and you set yourself up for it.
Leave.
You won. All right, fine.
Okay, welcome now. The Dapper Danielle's taking over the show now.
No, you're not taking over. You're not.
No, what I meant is that I don't want just to cover my walls in flower and garden merchandise and like very
that's
basic
fair.
like Orange Bird merch that's found everywhere. I want stuff that feeds into the Orange Bird Central Florida 60s 70s aesthetic. Right?
Right. You want to build a vibe. You know what, Danielle, you got the right person on the horn. Not me, but Nathan. Nathan has an Orange Bird kitchen. Show her your creations.
Picture. But my kitchen is it's sort of my dining room, I should say. But there's the kind of cliche Orange Bird sipper, but also some plants with it, and some of the during arts festival. Generally, one person does some beautiful piece of Orange Bird art, so it's a lot of that.
Yes, they really stepped up their game.
But I decided I needed to do my own thing, and so I had never cross stitched before. So I found on Etsy someone had made a design. I bought that design from them, and then I created my own cross stitch pattern, and then I created it. So I made this beautiful little cross stitch.
I believe it's called a sampler, isn't it? Once you've made it,
maybe.
I thought a finished cross stitch that is called a sampler. I
don't know, but it's I sort of put these two little items together and decided what was square and how to sort of turn a actual image into sort of basically squares and X's. And then I made a little Orange Bird. I'm very
gorgeous,
happy.
man.
So
it's really really pretty. And it's bigger than it looks
massive.
here too. It's a decent size. It's not like. Yeah, it's not like this.
It's not like one of those little tiny hoops.
No, it's like a 6x6,
an 8-inch,
or no, about an 8-inch. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I like that. See, this, when I say like Orange Bird aesthetic, it's not just Orange Bird. It includes the Dole Whips. It includes the orange blossoms. It includes like the citrus and the idea of old Florida.
The citrus swirl, ma'am, not Dole Whip. Are you kidding me? Orange Bird only represents one frozen treat, and it is not the pineapple one.
True. But that's okay. No, but explain that to the other people that don't understand.
Explain that. Things that keep me up in the middle of the night, but you think about it and I don't anyway. It's the goddamn citrus swirl, Danielle. Don't give Orange Bird the Dole Whip, all right? There's not a sentient pineapple
pavilion.
alligator
that as the Sunshine Pavilion, okay? Representing all the things.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about Central. I mean, a whole Central Florida citrus aesthetic, because there are tons of old boxes and vibes.
Yeah. There's a shuffleboard bar in Brooklyn that has a similar vibe. Like part of their bar is Orange Bird, and it's all the vintage miniature Orange Birds that you can collect throughout like 5 to 6 years. They have them just all over a shelf with other ephemera, but it turns it into a very orange, because they're like Smurfs. They're like Orange Bird Smurfs, and there's so many different designs. I have no idea where they came from. It was like 25-cent machine kind of Orange Birds. It was bananas.
You could actually buy them, and they were in the park and outside the park. I think you could get them through Sears here in Central Florida, and there was different boxes. They were kind of like the little blind boxes of the time in the 70s. And when I tell you, I am so angry. I'm not saying I'm the one that made Orange Bird popular, but after having a couple videos of him go viral and get a couple million views, all of a sudden people have discovered Orange Bird. And that means that all the Orange Bird vintage merch that I want, everybody's like, oh, I can charge more for this now. And I'm like, no, just give it to me, please. Thank you.
You have to be wise about this. I desperately want to make some content about the Nickelodeon Blast 90s children's merchandise line. And before I do that, I am buying up all the things that I want from that line off of eBay because I know that if I post the video and it gets popular, the prices will double for all the things I want to collect. And I'm only bringing it up at the end of my podcast because I know there's only like 15% of my audience still here. You know what I mean? So And hey, if you guys want to send me your Nintendo Blast stuff, I'll take it. Blast Box, Time Blaster, like anything to Talk Blast, whatever. I'll take it, baby.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, yes, I've shot myself in the foot so many times here recently.
Yeah, you got to buy up before you produce content.
But that's the thing is that I get
insider merchandise trading,
and I see it like Blake. So Blake's Poppin' Up was gifted the Scrooge McDuck mug from. When was it? When did I say it was? It was from 63 or 65. And I talked about it and I was like, oh, I could get my hands on one of these and they're pretty decent. The next day, not anymore. Because all of a sudden people are like buying them up because they're like, oh, we did realize.
Remember that chick with the Toontown? She had the Toontown baseball hat that you'd flip the lid up and there was like a pop-up Toontown, and then you could clip it down and clip it all back together. Man, when that thing came, when she showed that, I was like, oh, I need one of those. Forget about it. They pop up on eBay and they disappear. So you gotta, as a content creator, loving that merch, it can sometimes bite you in the butt.
It's looking at merch and then realizing as stuff is slowly like coming out of people's collections or like when Orange Bird relaunched in Tokyo.
People are dying.
And then
as the boomers pass.
Yeah, have we seen any Orange Bird in Japan yet? I don't think I did. I recently came back and I was
Orange Bird, but oh, no. Orange Bird was rediscovered and brought back because of the kawaii fruit culture. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of merchandise. Like he was in everything. He had the Tokyo plushes. He had some really cute stuff, very kawaii stuff come out. And, but you can't find it unless it shows up here in the States or if you're on the Japanese side of eBay. And it's ridiculously priced. And I want all of it so bad.
RIP our wallets as content creators making very specific niche content that gets deep. Real deep. I was at Lakeland Antique Mall and I found an original pressing of the Enchanted Tiki Room on vinyl. And they wanted I don't know, $150.
I saw that one.
It was it was like $100. So I was like, did you?
Yeah.
I bet it has. Yeah, I bet it has. I was like, ooh, I want that, but I'm not buying that. I'll just pirate it, I guess. And this has been fun. Danielle, everyone knows congrats on your 400,000 on TikTok. Huge success. TikTok is a platform that I'm still, I've got, I don't know what's wrong with me. I have some kind of mental disability.
You do.
I'm
just literally
crazy
have a mental
and I can't
disability.
figure out social media to save my life. Yeah. Yeah, there's something definitely seriously wrong with me, but I'm always in awe of your ability to just wrestle TikTok and just like make it yours. You really like jump on top of it.
Like you can handle YouTube where I'm still figuring out YouTube. So like back at you.
YouTube is a beast. YouTube is a very different
TikTok's
beast.
A very different beast.
I feel lucky that I'm even found, I feel lucky that I feel like I should have been on Vine and TikTok, like that's where I should have been with my ADD and my short attention span, and specifically with content creation. I don't know how I got into long form, but I do know because I'm an actor. I'm a theater major. So like just performing for an hour and a half is no problem for me, so, congrats on your 400,000 where you're starting a YouTube. You have a YouTube. What are you doing with YouTube?
Channel, and a lot of it is basically where I'm uploading stuff that I have so many things, so many random adventures or pieces of history that won't fit into a TikTok or into an Instagram post. It's going there onto YouTube. Some of my other random adventures, like me going camping with my mother here recently and my experience at Fort Wilderness Campground here in Disney World.
Making your mom sleep on the ground.
She had
Cool.
an air mattress. She was fine. And and what else? Just like, it's also the place where I'm putting a lot of my compilations from when I first started TikTok, because we still are uncertain of what's going to be happening as we continue forward with the platform. So this is a way for me to save all this video and all this content that I've made and put it into one like 30-minute video of the same topic or the same month over and over again.
It's smart. It's wise. Yeah. I do compilations on my YouTube channel all the time, and they do well. So I definitely recommend it. Do it. Everyone go get your Danielle fix. Do you have a website, Danielle? Do you have like a link tree?
Yes, I do have a link tree, and you can find the link tree in all of my platforms. YouTube,
all
TikTok,
your bio links,
Instagram, Facebook page. It's all the Dapper Danielle. I was able to secure that on all the things, which was amazing. And there is the Dapper Danielle website. I haven't promoted it hardcore yet because that will be my storefront location, but I'm having a couple issues with setting up the storefront.
Now, Dan, would you possibly know of any providers of websites that would be good for...
Hey, this podcast is not brought to you by Squarespace yet, but if you are over on Disney Dan,
hey, Squarespace,
yeah, that's all I talk about. But hey, they sponsored the channel for the entire year, so I can't complain.
Congrats!
Thank you. Yeah, it was really nice getting a 24 episode order from Squarespace. I was like,
sounds
you
good.
Bet. So, Danielle, you're a gem. I really enjoy chatting with you. Thank you so much. It was so fun being on your Countdown to Disney podcast. I might be secret time. I might be joining you. On a similar setup soon. Lord willing. So if everything works out, but it's great having my Disney Dan companion podcast here. Fun. And you're an incredible guest with some incredible stories. I learned so much about the fairy godmothers.
To share everything and go into even more detail.
Well, then we'll have you come back.
Save it for another episode.
Danielle has more to talk about? Get out of here! No way. I've met my match. It's
just a Dan thing. It's really
there must be something in the name. Yeah, true. Nathan, Rat Castle, you're
so
cranking them out.
Always check out my other podcast, my Rated R podcast, the R for Rat, which is of course it's a theme park podcast. It's a progressive theme park podcast without the pixie dust, and so it is there. And if you are tired of listening to family friendly Disney podcasts,
if you're tired of listening to the Dapper Danielle family friendly content, go over and see Nathan's
now and then.
I said like 3 bad words this episode.
You did a good job.
This was PG-13 hard.
Yeah, no F-bombs.
No F-bombs though. No F-bombs. Only SH bombs.
But if you're craving,
the language is not supported by the Dapper Danielle. She does not speak for the Dapper, for the Disney Dan company or his likenesses or verbiage. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, Dan always says, and Daniel, you're welcome to say this as well. It's only cool when adults say bad words. When kids say bad words, it's weird. It's icky. It's yucky. It's only cool when adults.
I love a dirty child. I think it's very funny every time. I love one
a filthy child.
Profane child is very funny to me. But anyway, if you are a profane child looking for if you're a propane child, or I'll take natural gas, whatever you are, you can find us over at ratcastlepod.com.
Right.
All right.
Great. And you can find all my links at thedisneydad.com. This has been fun. A podcast where we take fun seriously. It's been fun, Danielle, but now it's over.
Do you want me to sign us out like I do my other stuff?
We record these early, some of them, magic, and my man has yet to figure out how to end a podcast. He just goes, "It's over." Like he'll say the phrase and then he'll say, "It's over."
Well, learn from the master. End the podcast this episode up. How does that sound?
Yes, Danielle.
Do you want to say it's over?
I got this. Hold on. Dan, you're done. All right.
It's been fun. It's over. See ya. I don't know what you want me to say.
Fun.
I'm a child of trauma.
Thank you so much for listening this far into the episode. And until next time, night, sleep tight, dream of churros tonight.
Whoa. Is that how you end your TikToks? Have I not been listening long enough?
That's half of my
Have
content.
I not been seeing the ends of your TikTok?
That's what I'm known for. I'm the night churros lady too.
Whoa. I didn't know that. And every time I eat a churro now, I'll be thinking of you. Listen, my family hates me for not ever finishing a piece of content. I dip out of a YouTube video with 30% left because I'm like, what's at the end of this video? Nothing.
My
nonsense.
sign off
I got everything.
Families across the world and have adopted it now.
Well, maybe I need a sign off. Maybe
like
I need something.
To sign off.
Yeah. How about it's over? It's been fun.
It's been fun. Peace
You
out,
are the
Girl
second.
Scout.
You are the
Goodbye.
second guest to suggest it's been fun. I think that is the official. That is the official.
Oh,
one now.
okay.
That is fate. That is fate.
But is that the last thing? Okay. It's been fun. And now it's over.
We'll workshop it later after the end.
There
of
you
the
go. That's
episode.
the end right there.
This has been a production of 710 Media.